My name is Ray DiAgostino. I am the Vice Chairman of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners and also the Chairman of the Lancaster County Board of Elections. Our staff uncovered apparent incidents of attempted voter registration fraud here in Lancaster County. Through the staff's normal review process, as many as 2,500 completed voter registration forms are being researched for potential fraud stemming from 2 separate drop batches by individuals. At that time, staff contacted the District Attorney's Office and members of the Board of Elections. Applications in these batches are going through an extensive multi-step review process, including the District Attorney's Office for further investigation as warranted. This includes issues of duplicate handwriting matching other voter registration forms in the batches, inconsistent signatures with what is on the file in the SURE system, because some of these or many of these are duplicates, unverifiable and/or accurate addresses, and inaccurate driver's license or social security number verification. We have an obligation under the election code, just not only that, but a moral obligation to investigate any matters of potential fraud. Applications that have gone through this extensive review and investigative process and are not deemed to be fraudulent are being processed. I want to stress this. No eligible voter will be turned away. We'll also add that the Commonwealth Department of State and the Attorney General Office has been notified of this matter. We've called this press conference today to share this information with voters and with all of you so that people can feel confident in the security of Lancaster County's elections and that we take these matters seriously. This time I'm going to turn it over to District Attorney Heather Adams for a statement and update on the investigation.
The confirmed indicators of fraud that detectives came across were inaccuracies with the addresses listed on the applications, fake and false personal identification information, as well as false names. Also, applications that contained names that did not match the provided Social Security information. There were also applications, though, that had correct personal identification information, but the signature did not match. And when investigated, they were determined to be fraudulent.
Yes, that's correct. The signatures, the handwriting, the signatures, and that's really what started to tip off our staff is that, you know, these were in a stack and all of a sudden if several had the same handwriting and signatures, and immediately our staff contacted us in the District Attorney's Office. That's how we got alerted and then started this large-scale investigation. As the District Attorney said, that's when the detective started to then contact those voters and found out that they were, in fact, most of them were not actually the person who filled it out or signed them.
I would say we can say it appears to be an organized effort at this point. But of course, it's an ongoing investigation, and we'll be looking into who exactly participated in it and how far up it goes.
I could say it does not appear at this point. It doesn't seem that it's any one party. In some cases, they're registering in different parties. In some cases, they're just changing an address or at least appearing to change an address or something else other than party. But at least from what we're seeing, it doesn't look like it's any one necessarily registration. I don't know if the district attorney can also add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that right for the general election, it really wouldn't matter. What we are concerned about is the fact that if there's fraudulent voters, if there are voters on the books that shouldn't be, it increases the chance that we're going to have voter fraud. And what we're looking into and what we're going to investigate is whether or not, thankfully we stopped part one, right? That was getting a voter on the books that perhaps shouldn't have been. But part two is whether or not anyone intended to turn that application then into a fraudulent vote. And for all intents and purposes, that's been stopped because of the good work of those in the elections office and the ongoing investigation.
And with that, I don't know if you want to speak to this as well. Anyone who tries part two, potentially, we're going to find you. we're also looking at those applications as well and then matching them up against what, these applications. So we take this very seriously. I don't know if you want to address that as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, we have all resources and all hands on deck. And of course, we're going to follow this investigation as far as we can. We will make arrests if we can, and they will be prosecuted accordingly. We have violations of the crime code, potentially forgery, numerous violations of the elections code, which are misdemeanors of the first degree in some instances, and carry with it a 10-year disenfranchisement. So we'll be looking at all the options. I'm not going to name them. That would be up to them to make a statement if they so choose. Our detectives have been in contact with both of the detectives in those two counties at this point. The canvassing operation appears to be in public spaces, parking lots, grocery stores, other businesses, parks, sidewalk and intersections in the city where they would have been approached voters to ask if they wanted to register to vote. We're finding a number of different things. Some cases where the voter felt uncomfortable moving forward, but yet the application was submitted, and others where the information on the form is, completely generated and not accurate.
What it looks like to us is that, and we kind of mentioned this previously, that the date on the applications is one thing. When they come here, it's another. And so it appears that this stack were generated starting in July and in August and September, and then were brought in at the last minute. We've gotten large batches, quite frankly, over the last several weeks from canvassers. And, I don't think we want to, I know we don't want to disparage all folks that are registering people. This seems to be, at this point, and I don't want to steal anything from you, but it seems like it's isolated to maybe one organization or you two. So we don't want to say that you can't trust anybody, quite frankly, because, voter registration is a personal matter, and there are a lot of good people trying to help register people. And that's great and that's fine. And we're happy to help, get those people registered. But this is not right. It's illegal. It's immoral. And we found it, and we're going to take care of it.
I want to just comment on that. There are a lot of grassroots activists out there registering people in Lancaster County and all across Pennsylvania. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We 100% support it regardless of your party, and those are fine. And it is not unusual to have large number of voter registrations coming in. We're, processing those. This is a limited, specific organization, and, we'll deal with that.
So again, 60% of the ones that we've completed, I'm not going to talk about numbers at this point. We are continuing to get applications from the voter registration office. And yeah, I don't want to speculate where this is going to end because the investigation is going to be ongoing. I'm not going to share those details. However, if someone did register to vote and they thought it was under suspicious circumstances, or gave their entire social security number rather than the last four as required. If anyone's worried about whether their personal identification information was stolen or used, certainly they can go to and do credit report checks and those types of things. But if they have any other indications of fraud, whether it be getting mail at their house for someone they've never heard of, then I would encourage them to either reach out to the local police department or to the county detectives. I can say that it certainly seems to be a widespread effort, but as far as who did what and how many, that is being investigated. Forgery of an application, which we have seen evidence of, would be a felony of the third degree, punishable by up to 7 years in prison and $15,000 fine. Again, the various election codes violations all differ. But at least, one section comes with a 10-year disenfranchisement of your voting privilege. We are still investigating who is behind this. I want to make that clear. Okay. We've spoken to the other county detectives. We understand that there's similar registration applications that have been received. But beyond that, I am not commenting on where this is leading at this point.
The question was, are we able to identify who dropped them off? And the district attorney's not going to comment on that.
We'll be as transparent as we can, of course. Again, with an ongoing investigation, it's delicate, but we felt the need to make sure that the public was aware of this, and that if anyone has particular questions, they can reach out and call us. But yes, we'll try to be as transparent as we can.